Dirt is so trolling.
You lost me for a second, then I realized that you're trolling.
It's like we were playing a game one night. He goes, guys,
Uh,
guys, guys, how do you swim in this game? How do you swim in this game? Every 2 goddamn seconds.
That's great.
Yeah.
uh,
All right. So what are you guys doing? What's going on? You guys heading out?
yep.
Yep, let's head towards the castle.
All right. So you guys can see on the map. Let me open this thing up for you. Now you can see you've etched it on your map, where the right in the middle of that big wooded area. That's the Neverwinter Woods. Now, as you can see, there's Cragmaw Castle, almost to the very southern portion of it, but it is in the southern portion. So that's all of the correspondence that you had found. That's exactly where it is. I mean, you have the map. You've also given the map to whoever else you needed to give it to within Phandelver. You guys are out. It's about a 2-day trip from actually. We'll say it's a day and a half. You guys stop. You guys aren't in 24-hour march mode or any kind of pace like that. You're not doing any kind of forced march. Just put it that way. So we'll say it takes you the full almost 2 days to get there, and you're there the next morning. So as you guys get towards the castle, you don't have any encounters. There's a couple close calls. You actually run into an ogre in a ravine, and you see that this ogre is literally carrying 2 goblins on his shoulders, one on each shoulder, and they're just all 3 talking away. So you're able to avoid that. You also see a large pack of sturges as well. Which are those huge, like giant flying bloodsuckers. So you actually see a small pack of them running around. Several other creatures, but for the most part, you have not for the most part, but you have no encounters. But the big thing was running into that ogre, and ogres are tough. But this ogre was different. This ogre had, like I was saying, 2 goblins, one sitting up on each shoulder, and all 3 of them were just talking away. So you get to Cragmaw Castle. Now, when you get to Cragmaw Castle, you notice that this thing has weathered quite a bit since its construction. Now, 1 second. And 1 second for you guys as well. Have to look something up as well. So you guys can see that the centuries have not been kind to Cragmaw Castle. You do not see anything. No kind of goblins, no bugbears, no humanoids. Nothing like that is traveling around the castle. Now, as you guys come up to it, the sun is now starting to come up. There's lots of mist in the area because of the sun is coming up. Very humid morning, and the castle consists of 7 crumbling towers of different sizes and heights. But the upper stories are all in varying states of collapse. A short flight of steps leads up to a terrace in front of the main entryway. Past the wreckage of a pair of sundering doors lies a shadowed hall. Round towers loom over the entranceway, with dark arrow slits looking down on the terrace. So, like I said, you see no monsters, no goblins, no bugbears, no humanoids, nothing. Now I'm going to move you guys over to a new map. And this is pretty much what you see. This is what, like our 4th map now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Alright, so everything is black. Obviously you can't see, that's the top of the castle. But as you can see, the round circles around the extremities of the exterior of the castle, those are all the different towers. And then there's several towards the middle as well. Now, here's the thing. You guys have found that, the entrance is basically right here towards the front of the castle. And like I said, there's nothing. But you do, however, I'm not even going to make you guys do a perception check. You do see, different footprints. And you're able to tell that, they are goblinoid type. So what do you guys want to do? You also notice how see how there's holes in the arrow walls? Well, the walls and around the entire castle. You guys kind of scope it out. But those are literally arrow slits. And, where in the past battles have been fought here. So the archers, or the longbowmen, whatever you want to call them, they were able to basically fire arrows out of those holes. And those are basically, those go the entire length of the castle all the way around.
How is the lighting, Dave? What is the the vision?
Well,
how far can we see, and how far?
The sun
can
has
see?
just come up, so I mean you can see, as far as you can see within this area.
Okay.
Now, the main entrance, it's open, correct? There's no door or anything. It's just got the stairs leading up to
Yeah.
the terraces on each side.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna reveal a little bit more for you guys now. So this is pretty much as you guys walk up, and I'm gonna put your guys' tokens as well on the board.
Wow, we're really big.
My token is huge.
You are massive. So that's Eamon. There's nobleman Edward Clitoris, or I'm sorry.
I love it.
That's
your new name,
Lord
permanent.
Clavicle.
Exactly.
And smile when you
Nope,
say that.
nope.
Lord
Not
Clavicle
anymore.
and Dr. Papschmear, right?
That's right.
Lord Clitoris.
I figured I've been waiting all
The
week to say that.
stinky.
Been waiting all week to say Lord Clitoris. I have been.
Lord
Oh, I know.
Clitoris, the stinky.
So there you go. You guys, this is basically where you're at. Go ahead and you can put your tokens where you're at. You see you guys come up the ramp. So it's elevated probably about 5 feet. And you can see that there are the arrow slots both here and here. I mean, just visibly where you're at right now.
So, I'm gonna look.
This is going to be
over
tough
at,
for them, guys. This is really going to be
Lord
tough right off
Edward,
the bat.
and I'm gonna say, would you like me to go ahead and take a peek inside the entrance?
I like how they're both basically pointed right at me.
I think that would probably be a good idea. I will back you up, and I will guard your back.
Okay, Dave. So I'm gonna walk over here to the doorway and see what I can physically see, and look for any kind of tripwires or anything like that.
Vietnamese
going through the
tripwires or anything.
Anything bad
Any
like
kind
that?
of
Yeah.
bamboo punji traps or anything like that.
That's
Alright.
right. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, so go
I
ahead.
raise my shield up and stand behind it, like hide behind it, kinda.
So I guess you're wanting to kind of take a peek inside, then, Dirt, maybe.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, try to take a peek inside, and
All
then,
right.
but like I said, investigate the threshold. Make sure there's nothing in the threshold that would trap us. Or
Okay. Well, as you do look at, I mean, you can all see that the door is basically bashed down in front of you, and you guys, like I said, you guys do see footprints around. So obviously, there's been activity here. When you do look inside this door, you can tell that the ceilings are 15 foot high, and the door that's on the ground, it is wood, and you can see that the bars running across, all of the support bars, all that stuff is basically made of like an iron material. You also notice that this door doesn't have any kind of keyhole, no kind of lock, or anything like that. As you look right inside the door, you notice that the floors are cracked and uneven, with lots of dirt everywhere. So obviously, it's in a state of decay, and it's not in the best of shape. Now, as for lighting, you notice that there's a little bit of light, and you can basically tell that it's probably going to be lit from the arrow slits that are lining the castle. And even on the upper walls of the castle, on like the second tier of the castle, there's arrow slots as well. So that's probably how this place is lit. And it is dimly lit, and this is something that you can see, Eamon, and you could probably take advantage of this and actually move silently in the shadows. So you think that you could definitely use this to your advantage at some point. Because as a rogue, I'm sure you're going to probably think like that.
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm going to tell Lord Edward that I can see in a little bit, but it's pretty dark, and if you'd like, I'll go ahead and sneak in there just a little bit and take a look around and come back and report what I find.
Okay, so I want everybody to go ahead and do a dex check. Now, if you have the stealth skill,
Oh God!
which
Dex.
I don't think anyone has stealth except for probably the rogue. So if you have the dex proficiency, go ahead and add your +2 in as well.
Of course, I roll 19 for
Now,
Dex.
do I roll disadvantage for stealth?
If
If I
you're-
have a disadvantage for stealth?
That is correct. If your armor says that's one more thing I was going to talk about. If your armor says,
Oh no!
oh, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and not worry about it. Well, I'll go ahead and I'm going to do a roll as well. So go ahead and do your rolls at disadvantage. And also, I believe, Crag, you would probably also have to do your rolls in disadvantage because of your armor status. But you guys will notice in 5e, there's a lot of advantage and disadvantage. And when you do any kind of stealth check, that matters. So if you are in anything, I believe it's heavy, you have to do advantage. And you got your macros there, so there you go.
I'm not gonna get lower than a 1.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so.
I got a 9.
All right, so as everybody's kind of creeping up to the tower, there is everybody's being pretty quiet. Even Aim and Isis, you guys actually have a really hard time seeing Aim and Isis as he starts to go into the doorway and he starts to blend into the shadows. He's actually really hard to see.
Yeah,
And then
I'm just
all of a
running
sudden-
up, beating my chest,
Yeah,
making all the noise in the world.
Crag, he actually sort of like stumbles. So, he falls on one knee and you hear and a big scrape, and then all of a sudden you start to hear some activity coming from these 2 watchtowers that are right in front of you. This point here and this point here.
Makes me think that he's just tumbling about like empty cans rattling together.
That's basically what it sounds like. Now, as you guys start to hear this, you can actually look up into the hole, and I'm not going to make you do a perception check because it's pretty obvious. Except for, basically, you guys have 13 passive 13s. Dirt has a 10, which honestly, I really don't know why the rogue has the worst perception, but that just goes to show that all stats are important in 5th edition, because there's no half level to buffer that.
Maybe it's because he's so small.
Anything. Well, that could be the case.
Can't
Maybe he
notice
just
things
can't
over a
see.
certain
Yeah,
height.
maybe he just can't see above a certain point because he is a halfling. But anyways, you guys are able to see up, and there's a couple goblins, and then all of a sudden they disappear out of the corners of the actual holes up top, and all of a sudden it sounds like you hear pots and pans banging. and then you can start to hear more activity, and you can hear foots starting to
Dwarves,
scamper.
brothers.
I like that.
Well, that's the second time the stealth approach has failed, gentlemen.
Oh, there's no more stealth
Man,
checks involved here.
I am 2 for 2 in the last 2 games of getting us in a shitstorm of trouble.
Dwarves and their inability to be quiet.
All right, so as you guys start to hear this, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to take a stance out there? Are you going to come into the castle? I'm going to let you guys have an action before we start to see other things happening. So this is basically your reaction time, basically.
Now, you said that Eamon had already moved into the castle, right? He was sneaking into the shadows?
He's near the door. So I would say Eamon is right about right here, and he's fixing to walk in. So I didn't hear Eamon say he's walking in literally yet, because that's
Okay.
why I haven't uncovered anything. So I'm kind of waiting
All right.
waiting for him to make the move. So I'll tell you this. I will unlock this area for you. I will reveal this for you. This is basically what you see here. Pretty much where you guys are at. That's pretty much what you can see. Dirt. You can see that there's a hall to the south and also to the north. So, but you can hear and actually, Dirt. You can hear doors starting to open now as well.
I look back at the guys and I say, "Oh, looks like we got company. Sounds like we got company." Sounds like, not looks like.
Oh God.
All right, so let's go. So that's what Dirt wanted to do. Now, how about Edward? How about you?
I'm going to walk up to the door and stop right there.
Okay. Jambin, what would you like to do?
I think I'm going to just move up right next to the rogue and behind Lord Edward.
Okay.
I like this map, Dave. You aren't like stuck moving from square to square.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that. So
I like to hear that. That's good.
yeah, I do like the way that I do like maps with the grid. I mean, I'm definitely all about the grid now. When I first started doing D&D and stuff, I was like, we'll just kind of go with everyone just kind of moving freely. Well, that was literally a train wreck, because everybody was like, there's 5 people piled around one monster, and it just did not work. So that's why I like grids now. And especially when I started playing 4E, that's when I really started, doing them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we'll use the grid, sometimes we won't. Sometimes we'll use it, sometimes we won't. So, all right. So as you guys start to move in, you notice that there are both, especially you, Edward, seeing that you've moved in now. But I'll let you guys know in just a second. So, Jambin, you've moved up to the door. Crag, what are you doing now?
I'm gonna stand in front of this, slam my shield up against the hole.
Okay. Now
Is that gonna stop them from being able to shoot out?
you'll have a pretty secure point where you're at from this area here. So yeah, you're safe right there. Well, from that aeroport. So what do you want to do, Kadojo?
I'm going to move right about there and just kind of keep close to the wall.
Get ready for that burning hands.
Oh yeah, there's a slit right here I can stick my hands up against and just cast Burning Hands in there, and everything's crunched.
Well, yeah, actually, that is kind of that's up a little bit. So it's not like you can just reach right into that hole. It's actually elevated above you. It's
How far above?
I'd say probably 15 feet,
Oh, okay.
15, 20 feet, because you gotta figure, as you look in the door, the ceiling's 15 feet. So that's on the second level of this place, of Kragmall. So it's got to be at least 20, 25 feet up in the air.
Okay.
Are you saying that's the arrow slots are?
Yeah, those
high?
are the arrow slots that we were talking
Oh well, then
about.
I
Yeah.
clearly cannot put my shield up there.
No. What I
Being
meant
a
when you
dwarf.
said that was you put your shield up in front of you. Yes. All right. So, Edward, Clitoris, as you guys walk in, Dirt, you want to go ahead and move in, or are you going to stay there? Because you're actually you've actually tried to take advantage of the shadows. You made your stealth check.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do, Dave. I'm going to stay right here where I'm at and try to stay hidden in the shadows best as possible, right here
Okay.
by the door.
Okay, sounds good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start uncovering all of this stuff. So just bear with me for 1 second. I am doing Fog of War, so it's not dynamic lighting. However, we will be going once we go back into the the normal campaign and everything. We'll start doing more dynamic lighting, but this is basically just an experiment on how everything is. And I kind of like the Fog of War, but I'm still one on dynamic lighting instead. I just love the way that dynamic lighting works. Plus, it's a lot more time consuming than saying, all right, guys, hold on 1 second. I need to uncover this portion of the map and all that good stuff. So, all right. One more thing. Alrighty. So as you move in, Ed, to the north, as you're running in, you're going to glance north. You're going to glance south. You're going to glance all around you, and you see that there is goblins to the north, and you see hobgoblins to the south, and the door's opening, so you can start to see more now. And you can see that there are numerous enemies starting to appear, both to the north and the south. So to the south, you can see that there's a lot of ruins. There's a wall down, and you can see that these hobgoblins, and you can see multiple hobgoblins, and they're starting to charge out into the hall. Now, as for the goblins to the north, you can hear that they are screaming things in their goblinoid type of language. You can see that there are numerous goblins as well. And I'm getting that for you guys. Alright. There you go. Alright. So you see to the south as well, all to the north, you can see a minimum of 3 goblins, and you can see 3 hobgoblins as well. So you haven't really encountered any hobgoblins yet because you just haven't encountered any. But the goblins you're familiar with. So now you guys, they know that you're here because you can thank you to the dwarf. You guys weren't able to stealthily get inside. They know you're here. You know that they're there. So there's no elements of surprise whatsoever. So what we're going to do now is roll initiative. So go ahead and do that, and you guys are infiltrating the bad guys' castle. So the goblins have a 2. The
Well, at least I'm
hobgoblins
not
have
bringing up
a
the rear.
1. So goblins have 2, hobgoblins have 1.
Wait, your initiative is -1?
Woo! I'm the best.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Well, at least I got rid of my first 1 for the evening.
So they got a bunch of creatures that they're going to have to
Crag's
deal with, guys.
initiative's -1 also.
Yep.
How can you guys be -1?
I'm wearing heavy armor and I'm a dwarf. I cannot believe that I have the highest roll. What the hell?
Well, I think you're tied for the highest roll.
That's just
Well,
the reaction.
technically, I rolled a 17. Shouldn't that give me?
That's just the reaction from you getting ready, because you knew as soon as you tripped and scraped your armor all along the floor,
Oh man!
you were already ready. So that's why you had such a great
Oh my
initiative.
god! There's so many numbers.
There are. This is basically. I'm just going to come out and say it. This is 3 encounters in 1. So.
We are going to die.
God, man! I should have cast silence.
Welcome
By the
to
way, that's one of my new spells.
D&D 5e, and you guys are now third level, so you can now cast 2nd level spells, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first up is the hobgoblin that is right in the back. So you can see that this goblin, and if you move on any of the, just like standard 4e, like we've done before, and also how we're doing in 5e, if you move on any kind of difficult terrain, like this, all of this rubble on the ground, any square that has that in is ×2 movement. It works just like 4e. So, all right, so this, you see another goblin start to come up. You see this door here. It is open, so there's sort of like a short wall that's protruding out. But you can see that there's a goblin starting to move through a hobgoblin that's starting to move through all of the rubble. Looks like he's trying to encroach in to get an attack. And as he comes around the corner, you notice that he is wielding a longbow. And this hobgoblin opens fire right on Edward. He's pretty much the only target that he can see at that point, so he will fire. And the hobgoblins get 7 attacks a round. Wow, is that a misprint? I'm kidding on the 7 attacks a round, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to close the program and go to sleep.
Alright, so the hobgoblin shoots and is a 15 versus armor class.
That is definitely a miss.
Okay, so you're able to basically sidestep that, and it hits the wall behind you. Alright, next up is... Oh, these things have 11 hit points. Not too bad. Another hobgoblin as well, Edward. Okay, he is engaging you, and you notice that he is wielding a long sword. Alright, and he attacks. And there's also a martial advantage that they have as well, but this one does not qualify for it. And he swings with a 6 versus armor class, and you parried away with your
Definitely.
axe. Alright, so you know that hobgoblins are cunning, disciplined warriors who crave conquest. They impose a strict military hierarchy and are often found in the company of goblins and bugbears. It's obvious they're part of the hobgoblin family. So, well, the goblinoid family. So, all right. Next up is a goblin. So you can hear something running up to you from behind. You notice that the hobgoblins as well. They are wearing chainmail and wielding shields as well. So basically, the hobgoblin that shot you, you can see that he's got a shield on his back and a longsword. Now the goblins, basically like the other goblins that you've encountered, both in, just the one other time in the goblin hideout, and they are wearing basically leather armor and a shield. And the goblins are also wielding scimitars, and they also have bows strung to their back as well. Alright, so we're up to the goblin at the doorway. So he does come through, he does charge through. Those are big goblins, aren't they? I resized those tokens. Thank you to Vey if you're watching, Bay. Thank you very much for helping me resize those and showing me how to do it with GIMP. So, all right. Now, first off, I'm going to roll something to see if the goblin notices you.